My name's John. Welcome to another video with my friend Bob. This time Bob's going to do a little bit all about micrometers, care, repair and maintenance. Anyway Bob, how are you? Let's have a start, mate.
I'm coming, John. Nice to meet you again.
Alright, how you doing?
Getting a regular habit this
Cheers, side. Get yourself in there, lad. Right. How do you want that? I'm going to get you fucking sorted here.
Today, our short video is going to be all about these things. As I call them, clamps. Or as John would like to call them, micrometers. I work in metric. John works in metric and imperial. I prefer metric. The one you go to see in the video is absolutely shocking, but by the end of when time I'm finished with it, you won't recognise it. Basically what it is, we're going to strip down the micrometer, restore it, put it all back together again, show you how to set it up on its standards and all that sort of stuff. So let's get cracking. This week's little short video is going to be about these things here, micrometers. This one I got it from my friend Peter. As you can see, it's fairly rusty up and naffy. Now, this one over here in this nice little wooden box, lovely, nice shiny, varnished. Tells you on the front there, it's 25 to 50. Lovely. I don't know what make it is, and I don't know what type it is, but voila. That's the one we're going to be restoring, basically. People's going to comment that it's brass. Now the trouble is, there is brass ones out there, and they're made specifically to be used in areas where you can cause a spark and may cause an explosion. So don't worry that it's made in brass, because you can get brass ones. But as you can see, it's well, that's the state of the box it's in. We're going to restore one of these. Now then, what I didn't say, when you do your DTIs and all that sort of stuff, it's handy if you've got one of these. I know John's got his set up, but a digital camera, because you can take pictures of yourself when you're taking it to bits at each individual stage, so you've got a record of how to put it back together again and what not to put it back together. You don't have to have a camera. Most modern phones now have a camera on, so you can use that. Every DTI I get, I take photographs of it, because there is people out there, be honest, that, oh, it's not you've sent us the wrong DTI. It was the one I give you was a Mutatoyo, and I tell them no, it was actually a battery, for the simple reason I've got photographs of it. Now the tools you're going to be needing is most micrometers in the box, in the original box they come into, they'll have a little spanner like that, or a little spanner like that, right? And they'll have a standard, which is one of them. Now that's a 0 to 25 one, and that's a 50mm one. Now you might have a micrometer that you got when you started serving your time, and it's 32-year-old, and you might have the same standard. What I recommend you to go and do was to go and get another standard, because that standard might be what? These standards is brand new. I get issued new standards every year, because of all my measuring gear at work has to come into ISO 9000 or whatever it is, and it's easy for them to just issue me new standards, because they know I can do it, and set up my own micrometers and all that sort of stuff. So it's got a name on this thing. It's called alloy. I don't know specifically if it means just because it's an alloy one. It's been painted in some sort of green mucky paint. The ratchet, which doesn't work, which is very important that the ratchet works. If you've got a micrometer and it doesn't have the ratchet, that's this bit on the end, every time you're going to use that micrometer, really you're going to get a false reading, because it's the ratchet you use to take up on the very end, not the main barrel. And what you'll find on this one, the zero's there, but the zero's all the way around the other side on this. It's not in line. So we're going to rip this apart if we can, Perfectly honest, it isn't. Don't worry about rust on the spindle here, because the spindle, this bit doesn't really do anything. It's this end what does the business. And both anvils, that's what I call them faces there, they're not rusty. Even if they were rusty, you can re-polish them, and because there's the scope of recalibrating it. But the main spindle itself is a bit rusty, so give it a clean. Doesn't take much. I mean, if it's really embedded, you can get a little file on the go, or again, it's like everything else, patience. The more patient you're doing something, the better the results go to be. Now, you never ever do this with a DTI, by the way. If the spindle's corroded bad on your DTI, well, unfortunately it's past reserve. I'll unscrew that. It does unscrew, it's a bit stiff, but it's not that particular bad. Now, if it is really bad, you can get a touch of the, it's not the blue magic tin, but it's a magic tin all the same. I'm out the shot here, I know, but I've given it a squirt. I didn't want to squirt it on my bench.
Are they very common, brass micrometers? And that's what it's for, intrinsically safe for the spark.
For sparking, yeah. I mean, tell everybody before, Moore and Wright actually did a braille. Well, they do a set of braille micrometers. They do a set of micrometers in brass. They were specifically made for their coal board and gas board and places like that, because where there would be a point of, now as you can see, it's got loads of grease on there. Now that's not a bad thing as such. Now I want a little screwdriver down. I've got a little screwdriver, one of my little screwdrivers out of my box. I'll just give us the range. I'm not saying this will come off in one go. It might not. Can't even get it in the slot no matter what else. No. No. Right. What's going to happen with this one, as it is I'm going to stick it in my ultrasonic tank. One, it'll keep it clean, but also because it gets hot and then it'll cool down. The heat and expansion of cooling down will help break all the rust off. So the next time you'll see this, hopefully, it'll be in a million bits. Now, you get an adjusting key like this. Now, this is not the key for this one, right? You might have a key which will just say fit. You can get away and making it a better fit by, I'm just going to piece here, get a bit of emery cloth, tear it off. Don't use the grit side, use the fabric side, the back side. And put it on. Now I was always taught was always to go backwards, not forwards, when you're rotating the drum, which is that bit there, right, which say going round. As you're rotating it, pull it off, and that's the drum off. Now that's come off fairly simple. Some of them you'll find that's actually, because it's brass, it will, because it's not rusted. On these ones, the steel ones, what happens is, you've got to say both, that's to say that's a 0 to 25, and this is not an inch, this is an inch micrometer. I do believe it's more than right. The first thing you need to take off is this adjusting collar, and all that does is pre-tension there. There's a thread on the top. There's me. So you can tell this is unrehearsed, live. Have you got a pair of pliers, John?
Aye.
Just a pair of pliers. Nope. No, there should be Teflon coated pliers, but them screws there should be never ever that tight that you can't undo it. What it is if you can see on the top, it's cut 3 ways, it's spliced, so when you tighten that collar nut, bear in mind there's only one way this goes on, because it's tapered, it's like a plumber's thread. It'll only go on one way. When I find, I've done these before, and they've put it on, and they've put it on upside down. All it does is to tighten them internal threads onto the threads what's inside that spindle there. Now again, I do it because this is where I was taught to do it. Put a bit of emery cloth, fabric side down, in the little hole. So I've got a play ball. It's doubling over. So all I'm trying to do is show you what's possible to do in your own workshop, rather than saying, oh well, I need to go out and buy another micrometer, that one's knackered, and all this sort of stuff. There is ways and means. I'll just drop that on the floor.
Drop it.
Oh, that bit of emery cloth. Oh, got it. It's, I say, if you had the right key, it shouldn't be a problem. It should do what it's told straight away, but there we go. It's off. Right. Next thing that'll come off is the locking ring. Now again, don't just go and rive at it. There's a little peg in there, and it can be a pain to get, as you can see. There we go. And as you can see, somebody's bodged that one. We've got a bit of copper on the inside. That shouldn't be copper. It should be like a steel spring. Not a problem, because I've got enough of these down home scrap. Because every time I go to a boat sale or yard sale, as you would call it in America, where you have boat sales, I can't resist and buying one. And 9 times out of 10, they're in all sorts of states. So anyway, if you've got your little spanner, which is that one, that should fit that there. And the whole lot's turning. So I'm out of shot. I'm using John's Vice, which has got aluminium jaws. It isn't a problem. If you haven't got an aluminium jaws, well, you make aluminium jaws. Then the ratchet comes off, and that's it. This top collar is actually a stop. So when that's screwed in, it will actually hit the stop first. A little bit of play in it, but it's also went for you to line it up, so when you get your zero onto here and your zero onto there, is you turn your barrel so your index lines line up I should say. Now I have done worse than these, honest. So what will happen now is this one and the remains of this one will all get chucked into my ultrasonic tank and given a deep clean. Now as I say, the ratchet, all there is in there is a little spring and a little pawl, a little bit of hardened steel with a round end on, which works as a ratchet. Now normally what happens is it'll either unscrew and drop off, or the micrometer gets dropped and that gets broke off. And I don't know how many times I've had micrometers and this bit's missing, but they expect the micrometer to work just for that barrel just stuck onto there. Now some of you are saying, I'll say that that's really, really rusty, but I'm just off sort. All I've done there is give it a squirt of the penetrating oil, or whatever you want to call it, whatever comes in the trade. I don't use that stuff in the blue tin. I'd rather other makes than that. And what you'll find is on the motor and right, they have like a satin chrome finish. If the rusting's not too bad, you can get away with just a light Scotch Brite, like what I'm doing. And again, the more you work at it, the better it is. Have we got a cloth, John, please? Very much. Now already that's a lot better than what it was. You'll never ever get rid of all that rusting unless you want to go and send it away and get the chrome coating removed, then re-polished and re-indexed, which you might as well just scrap the whole micrometer and buy a new one. Me and John's just touched on there regarding tooling that from the Far East. If it does what it says on the tin, then why not? There's people commenting on us, on Astas, what would be the best DTI to buy, or in this case your best micrometer, and all I put it down to, buy what you can afford to buy. If you buy a micrometer which has cost you 12 quid, then it's a 12 quid micrometer. If you've bought a DTI and it's cost you £5, it's a £5 DTI. Now I've took expensive DTIs to bits, and yes, they're all jewelled and they do this and they do that, but they seem to jam up very, very easily because they're made too complicated. Then I've had cheap DTIs I've taken to bits, and you can just basically fill them with sand and like AK-47 and they still work. As long as the needle stops where you want it to stop at, or supposed to stop at, then what's the problem? Some, as I say, that you buy a cheap one, it might not be very smooth, and the needle might jut around a bit as you're dragging it over a straight edge or a smooth edge. But that's down to the inner workings really. But as long as it keeps reading 0, then what's the problem? And as I say with these, I can't resist a micrometer on a boat sail. Oh, that'll never work again. But as I say, the next step now is one, I'll find the I've chucked it away, look, it's gone already. No, it's gone. It's vanished. There's the peg. There's a copper collet. Shouldn't be copper, it should be steel. I know I've got a spare one in my junk box down home, and I'll chuck all these into my ultrasonic tank just to give them a clean down, and we'll go from there. What was very interesting on this one here, and that's a screw, what I call on the bottom anvil. Some of them don't, some of them do. I'm out of shot, sorry. No, it's well rusted. It will come out because it's in brass. But I will get that out and I will clean that up. So next time you'll see that'll be all nice and clean. It won't be painted, but I'll have that bottom anvil out with that screw out, and I'll have all that to bits. I won't even attempt it to no, say solid. Give it a bit of a wazzer in the ultrasonic tank, and we'll go from there. But as I say, that has got bad rusting on there as such, but it's not there what's important. It's that face, right? It's them two faces with a standard in between, and because it's a machine thread, it should be a machine thread. Well, it is a machine thread, I should say. It should take years of use before that thread should ever wear out as much that you would be totally out of calibration, because basically you just keep moving the barrel, this barrel and this barrel, to keep lining the numbers up. And I'll show you how to re-index them with a proper, I'll leave that as a bit of an exploration for that. But I have got proper things that you use to put that marking back in. It's not a paint as such. I'm forgetting what to call it now. I call it a paint stick. It's not a paint stick, it's not like a felt tip pen. It's actually like a wax crayon. It comes in a multitude of colours, and the colours I've got is black and white, and basically you just rub it in and you leave it, and it goes hard, then you just polish it off, and it leaves the black ink, like the wax or whatever, it stays in the letters, so it highlights them. Because I know when I put that in the ultrasonic tank, all them letters and that will just come out silver because it'll clean the dirt out of them. But as I say, if ever you've got it, all of us out there have got micrometers, make it a box. It's no good chucking it in the top of your box and expecting it to be accurate every time you get it out the top of your box, so you just get clashed around top of the box. All you need is a bit of an MDF, that's that pre-compressed sawdust stuff, and most of you'll have a miller machine. Just mill a hole out and a bit of box to put it in. But it's your standards. If your standard's over 5-year-old, I do recommend you to go and get a new standard. Now, you might have a 5-year-old standard, but you might have resources where that standard can get checked every year or every 6 months. Now, our measuring gear at work, the most important measuring gear, gets checked every 6 months. The stuff what I use on the shop floor, and gets used on the shop floor, it gets calibrated once a year. Now, in my workshop where I work, it's me what does, I get everybody's micrometer and I calibrate them. I get a new set of these every year and I end up keeping them. So I know that's new. Right, there we go. That's as far as we're going to do today. John, got any questions?
What colour are you going to paint it?
What colour do you want?
Brass.
You want to let brass? Well, we'll leave it brass then. But as I say, the cold board did, we don't know about America, but we used to have a British cold board, and people say, oh, it's brass.
Anywhere where there's a change out of explosion?
Explosion,
Did you
yeah. They'd use brass.
Brass micrometer.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I know them there is steel,
Yeah.
right? But the chances of getting a spark between them two
Yeah.
is less than what it is that falling on a piece of metal and causing a spark. Whether it's been made for that or it's just made cheap and nasty. Now, I'm saying that's a standard. That is a brand new standard. Comes in a box. But they're only standard at a specific temperature. Now, at work, I'm hoping to get... Oh, there's that thing. At work, I'm trying to get Johnny in at work with his camera. And we have a plotter. I call it a plotter. And it lives in an air-conditioned room. And it's kept at a constant, stable temperature. Because that's what it's most accurate. And it'll basically, I put that on the I think it's called a CMX chain, I'm not too sure, but I just call it a plotter. And I can put that in the holder on the plotter, and you touch on there, and then you'll touch on there, and it'll tell you exactly down to the micron. It all depends what scale you want to read it in. If that is 50 millimeters. It'll tell you within 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, whatever you want to set the computer on, or microns, it'll tell you what it is. But that machine has to get calibrated every 6 months for our ISO 9000, whatever it is. But I'm hoping to get Johnny in ours. He has a surface table that needs regrinding, so we're going to do a bit of video on that and have a quick walk around the factory. But next time you see these, they'll be all nice and clean and ready to go back together again. So that's me in and out. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your comments, and bye bye for now. Happy?
Sound.